Hey, everybody, welcome to Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking to Gary Guseinov. Gary, it's great to connect with you. Gary is the co-founder and CEO of RealDefense, a cybersecurity and privacy company headquartered in Pasadena, California, with over 1.5 million customers. Gary, it's great to connect with you. I'd like to start off and talk about your business, right? And talk a little bit about where is your current stuck point in your business? You know, as you look in your business, where's your stuck as a CEO and as a business owner?
So John, thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate it. So actually we're surpassed our 1.5 million customer mark. So we're far beyond that at this point. But our sticking points, like with any other business, is getting new customers. Obviously, the cost of new customer acquisition keeps going up. So as you get bigger, the next customer you acquire is going to cost you more. And retention is challenging because of new dynamics changing in the credit card space in terms of how credit companies issue and maintain credit cards and how consumers utilize credit cards. And so that's a challenge, retention and new customer acquisition.
Yeah. You know, I'm so glad you brought that up because I talk a lot about this, Gary, when I'm coaching clients, which is a lot of times people don't think about the cost of acquisition. And on top of the cost of acquisition, in many cases, they don't think about the lifetime value of a client. And so, you know, those two things I think go so hand in hand. You know, think community, you know, a lot of companies are stuck, and I would say almost a lot of people, especially newer companies, aren't even thinking like this, Gary, right? The kind of the acquisition cost of a client and then the lifetime value of a client. So I appreciate you bringing that up, because as you're talking about retention, not only of customers, but are you talking, you know, there's also internal people and as well as customers, they all go hand in hand. So thanks for bringing that up. Let's dive into that. You know, as a company, how are you dealing with, you know, the cost of an acquisition, and then how do you reverse engineer the marketing to kind of get out there and build that?
Sure. So first of all, you have to look at your opportunities in terms of who's your customer. You have to understand your customer. You have to understand where to get the low intent or high intent consumers versus low intent consumers. And so your high intent consumers are usually going to come from search, people searching for your brand, your product category. Your low intent consumers are going to come from other places: display advertising, email marketing, social media. And so you have to kind of quantify the value of those customers. Then you have to look at the lifetime value in terms of how long these customers stick around. Low intent customers tend to stick around less. High intent customers tend to stick around longer. And then you allocate your budgets towards these groups of people. Now, usually we'll run out of high intent consumers faster because there's a finite number of them. And low intent consumers tend to be just a bigger group of people, more opportunities. And so you have to get very granular. You have to start testing different approaches in terms of marketing content, in terms of price points, offers, and figure out the one that works best for these different groups. Yeah. Then you have to consider international opportunities, et cetera. So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of A/B testing. Yeah. A lot of companies would follow rules. They don't know how to test properly. We have a scientific approach to everything. We track every nuance of the customer experience, and that's the only way you can scale.
I love it. I think community, that was just a master's class. And so in under 4 minutes, Gary, thank you. Thank you for that. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk retention, because there's retention of clients and then there's retention, you know, internally with teams. I mean, right now, you know, I would say this is one of the hardest things, Gary, in business right now is retention. And in many cases, it's not because the company's doing something wrong, but many of the employees just want to get some experience and then move on and evolve in their career. So how are you as a company, you know, working through this?
Sure. So first of all, you have to maintain, you have to have happy people working for you. And it's not just about giving them perks and, you know, doing free lunches and things like that. They have to believe in what you're selling. So they have to like what you're selling. They have to use what you're selling, hopefully. And they really have to appreciate their colleagues. They have to appreciate the sort of the company positioning in the marketplace or the industry that you're in. And so hopefully you have that going for you. And let's say that you do, and you're trying to recruit new clients or new staff. You need to look at the closest relationships you have, and so that you start there first, and then you maintain sort of dialogue with your existing employees, and if they have friends, family who might be interested in joining the company, that's the first place you would look. But in terms of maintaining or retaining your employees, you have to um, really understand kind of what makes them tick. Why are they there? Are they there because you're giving them certain work hours? Like, for instance, in our company, we let people work from home part of the week and part in the office. We do have certain perks, and we give raises consistently. So we always listen to what they want, and we do it through anonymous sort of feedback. We do it through direct feedback, and that there's not one way. It's not a silver bullet. It's lots of ways. It's lots of. You have to listen as a CEO. You have to listen to your staff and understand what they want. But it's really hard. I tell you, it's one
Yeah.
area that there's no real science around.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one of the things, Gary, that resonates with me when you talk about that is you talk about how you listen to your people. And listening takes time. And I think everybody seems so many times people are rushing through things, but it's listening to the nuances of what they're saying or not saying. I think that makes a huge difference. So yeah, I would say if there is an art and a science, that's probably one of the most important things, to not only listen, but then being able to, do something with your active and reflective listening and make a change.
And I'll tell you a couple of more things. It's really important, actually. We don't like I don't micromanage my team, and I tell my managers not to micromanage their teams.
Yeah.
We have people that are adults. We tell them what we want to accomplish, and I want them to have solutions. I don't want to give them solutions. I wanted them to work on the solution, and so they become part of the solution instead of being reactive to their work environment. And so that's really important. A lot of our staff is engineers, so they're smart, just generally smart people. And so we don't tell them how to start their day and how to end their day. You give them a task or a goal, and they accomplish it. So that's really important. Micromanagement is a bad idea. I think you do that only when there's a problem, like triage, the company's failing, or some catastrophic event. Then you want to micromanage. But generally, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Good. Let's talk about you've been part of companies and acquired over 250 million subscribers and over 1 billion product users. And so reverse engineer that so the law of proximity maybe isn't so overly big, but what that means, extract some of the lessons that maybe people can put into their business today.
Sure. I've been in customer acquisition since late 90s. I had a direct marketing company in the late 90s. We were the first direct to consumer marketing, performance marketing companies in the United States. And we just learned a lot about A/B testing and outbound marketing in the days before Google. And so it's just I've learned a lot over that time, and during the times when cost per action advertising was not even a word. It's something that literally we came up with, or the companies in our space came up with. And so I've been with companies that have, like one of the VPN companies that was part of Anchor Free, we had 650 million users, and we're the biggest, we still are the biggest VPN company in the world. And so just have a lot of experience doing it. But the unit economics that you have to focus on have never changed. You have customer acquisition cost, you have lifetime value. Those two numbers you have to live by. And if you don't understand those numbers, you're not going to be in business. It's really simple.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into your company. You make digital life secure, private, and productive. You develop, market security, privacy, productivity software services for consumers and small businesses utilizing telemetry and AI. So let's talk about that. Kind of put that in layman's terms and talk about kind of what you do for the 1 million+ customers that you service.
That was actually in layman terms, what you just read. No, I'm just kidding. It's so all right. Let me get more deeper in this. So we have two parts of our business. We have a software or products that we sell directly to consumers, and then we have products that we license to partners. So when we talk about telemetry, we collect a certain amount of usage data on users' device, and then we use that data to market our products to that same user. So we don't sell that data to anyone. We simply give our customers products they really want because we know how they use their devices. So that's what telemetry is about. In terms of artificial intelligence, we use artificial intelligence, particularly in our customer service area, where we look at customer experiences, we look at how they communicate with our staff, what our staff says, whether or not our staff is following all the rules, how the consumers are responding, and we listen to that information. We put it in a data, in a large data set, and we'll let AI analyze priorities. Then AI tells us what to focus on, because you can't focus on everything at the same time. So you pick your battles, and you fix the areas that need to be fixed, and then you move on to the next. And so AI makes us more efficient.
Yeah. AI really, for the average everybody, November 30th was such a big day for AI when ChatGPT, hit our email box. How do you think AI, Gary, is going to, what is AI going to look like in 18 to 24 months?
Well, it's going to get very specialized. I think what we're seeing now is a general just awareness of these tools. There isn't really sort of like the big leapfrog in AI that people are looking for, where you can go in, type something in, and suddenly you have the end result. It doesn't work that way. It guides you, gives you tools, it gives you extra ammunition, but it doesn't really create stuff. Like I'm talking about actual code that you can actually use to actually generate revenue. That hasn't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
And so, and AI is, in itself is questionable. Whether do we really have artificial intelligence where computers are thinking for themselves, or we just have really, really good machine learning with really, really good software that knows how to really accomplish something very specific. I think kind of that. I think that's where we're at. And so, in 18 months, maybe 24 months, and then we'll see tools that are very specialized and for business purposes, maybe identifying opportunities and managing costs and maybe managing marketing campaigns. I think you'll see very specialized tools like that. We'll see better analytics. Right now, if you look at analytics tools, it's just a bunch of data. And a lot of times it's very hard to make out what the data is telling you. Are there special trends? And so you have to become an expert in analyzing that data to understand what the data means. I think AI is going to make that much simpler and easier to make that data more actionable and actually take action without waiting for you to take action. That would be really cool. If we can get there, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to see. I think my iPhone is a version 14, so I can't wait to see when we're at version 14 of AI, because we're kind of at version 1 right now. Gary, I always like kind of doing learning where somebody came from. Success is never a straight line. And so give us kind of the 1 or 2 minute version of how you got here and a mentor that helped accelerate your growth along the way.
Sure. So I started a web design company in 1994.
So did I. So did I in 1995. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I mean, this is the beginning of the internet, Netscape, all those days.
Of course. Yeah.
I got a contract by luck with AT&T, and AT&T hired me to do website design for their clients, not for them.
Yeah.
And so we grew the business really quickly, and then we got another deal with Verizon at the time, and same kind of thing, and grew the business really fast, and then turned that business into a marketing company. So we started buying media and doing it on behalf of clients as an agency. Also had our own products and services that were marketed online, and it grew to a multi-million-dollar business. I was in my early 20s and I already became a millionaire at that point. And no one understood this space. Like when I talked to my colleagues, friends, and family members, and I told them about cost per action and cost per click and all this stuff, this was completely foreign to people. They didn't understand it. Yeah, totally new. And in 2003, I sold my interest in this company. I started a new company called Cyber Defender in 2003. The company, it was in cybersecurity space. It went from 0 to close to 100 million in revenue. We took it public on NASDAQ. Then I left the company. The company ran into trouble. The company actually went down substantially. Didn't go out of business, just went down on revenue. And then I co-founded a influencer marketing company called Incast. We were the first company to actually bring TikTok to Latin America. And then we brought TikTok, helped bring TikTok to the United States. We're actually one of the first companies to launch TikTok here with a bunch of celebrities. That's why it became popular so quickly, because we engaged celebrities right away. So and then I helped a bunch of startups from crypto to VPN companies. Just there's a whole list of them.
It's great.
And then 2017, I started a leverage buyout firm in the consumer privacy and security space, raised about $50 million, and that's RealDefense. And now we're growing, very profitable, and have millions of customers.
I love it.
That's it for you.
Thanks for sharing that story. That's incredible. Congratulations on all of that. Was there a mentor early on that helped spur the right mindset for you?
Well, more of like a kick in the butt. My dad is a scientist, was a scientist, research scientist. And I used to work at home at their office at my parents' house. And then one day he walked into my office and goes, "You got to stop staring at this computer till 5 o'clock in the morning. Get out there and meet some people. And if you don't, you can't work from our office anymore." And so that's what I did. And I woke up the next day and I went out there and I joined the Chamber of Commerce, if you can believe this. And I met a bunch of people, and my business took off. It was
great.
I just needed a kick.
Good. I love it. All right, let's do a quick speed round. You ready, Gary?
Let's do it.
All right. Book that's had the biggest impact on you.
It's called The Power of the Mind. I forgot the author's name is Kevin something, but
okay, it's good. I like it. And I know you shared what your dad said, which I think is great advice. But another piece of wisdom that's benefited you in your life, your favorite piece of advice.
Assumption is the M of all F-ups, mother of all F-ups. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Finish this sentence, and this just goes back to just the lineage of your career and many of the things that you've done. One thing everybody needs to do to take your dad's advice is
get off your ass.
Right. And execute. I love it. Think community. I'm a business coach. I work with successful people all over the globe and who are stuck, and I get them unstuck. And I love this podcast because I am able to bring people on like Gary to also give you some tools to get you unstuck in your business. Gary, you said a lot today that I thought was great, that resonated with me, and I think the Think community will love it. But I just want to extract one thing, which is the power of listening. And I would have to think that the power of listening, not only to your people, but also your gut through the path of your career, has really helped guide you and really empowered many of the people that you're listening to. Listening is something that as business owners, as managers, as salespeople, whatever your role is really, really important. So a suggestion is, however well you're listening, maybe take it to the next level. Gary, tell everybody who your ideal clients are and where they can connect with you.
Sure. Well, ideal clients are customers, consumers in the United States and outside the United States. I can be reached at Gary at RealDefense.sc, or I can be reached at Gary at iolo.com, which is our primary consumer brand, IOLO.com.
Great. And if I can help you, Think Community, you can reach me at JonDwoskin.com. Gary, this was great. Any last thoughts?
Delegate. Learn how to delegate. That's how you scale.
Absolutely. I have a team of 8 virtual people that work for me, and I delegate most everything and only do what I love to do. And I couldn't agree more. Find your who's, Think Community, for everything that you can possibly do that's not in your sweet spot. That's for another show, Gary. You'll have to come back and we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody. Gary, stay on the line. We'll catch up a little bit. Thanks, Think Community. Have an awesome day, everybody.
Thank you.